welcome to another Spinato Spin, the third talk of three on the simple subject of environment. And really, we're talking about your environment, who you hang around with, who you spend the most time with, what do you spend most time doing. Well, this is the third subject or topic, if you will, of the subject, and it's going to be called doing. What is that environment you're in right now got you doing? Think about it. Think about the whole doing thing. When you think about doing, you say, oh boy, is it something good or something bad? Where does he spend his time? What is she doing right now? You ever have somebody call you on the phone or get in touch with you, and the first thing they ask, they say, what are you doing? What are you doing? Think about that. What are you doing? Most people have to pause and say, I don't know, what am I doing right now? It's more like, what are you doing? But the question you should be asking is, why am I doing that? What's caused me to do this? What is my main focus of why I'm doing this? What is the basic reason for it? You know, the old saying, what's your purpose? Well, what's your purpose? Well, here's what we're talking about when we talk about doing. We're talking about the creation of it, the origin of it. Who has got you doing that? You know, go out and paint the fence or whatever, right? Who has got you doing that? What was the movie? The movie reminds me, or I should say, there is a movie that does remind me of the power of doing something that you never even thought you wanted to do. And the movie, The Manchurian Candidate, reminds me of it. The guy was brainwashed, but he never realized it, and someone made a suggestion, and he automatically went into motion. The guy said, why don't you go to Central Park and jump in the lake? And the person wound up going there. The person wound up leaving what they were doing and went and jumped in the lake. Well, that person was programmed to do something. What have they got you doing that you don't even think about that you're doing? That's the scary part. If you don't even think about certain things that you do, you just do them over and over and over. What is the purpose? What is your main purpose? What is your see? They say a ship without a rudder won't go anywhere. It'll just drift along. It'll just be tossed by the water. But if you know where you're going, and you know where you have a rudder, and you know exactly which direction you want to go, and it's up to you to use the momentum for what you have. Now, when they start talking about people that influence you, and people that change your mind, or people that get you to do certain things, you got to say, time out. Wait a minute, I don't want to do this. Or I understand why I'm doing it, and I don't like that idea. Have you ever done that? Have you ever stopped something right in the middle of it and said, I don't want to do this. This is ridiculous. Put yourself in the mindset of knowing the origin of all this. That's what the environment's all about. You know, I feel so sorry for the kids that are stuck in a bad neighborhood and they can't get out. They can't get out because the environment smothers them. They can't get out because anytime they try to make a move to get away from what they're trying to do, the environment pulls them in. Great topic about positivity or negativity, whatever way you want to look at it, is crabs in the bucket. Crabs in the bucket. How does that work? Well, it's real simple. If you had two lids of a bucket and you were only allowed to use one, and one of the buckets was filled with crabs and the other one only had one crab, the question, real simple, is which lid, or where would you put the lid? On the bucket with one crab or the bucket full of crabs? Person thinks about it, says, well, wait a minute, I don't want to lose all these crabs, so I guess I'd put it on where the other one is. No, that's not the right answer. If the crabs are in the bucket, they'll keep pulling the other crab down if that one crab tries to get out. But if the crab is by itself, it'll climb itself out of that bucket and walk away. You see, that's human nature right there. That's not just with crabs. Most people try to knock your head off. You try to do something big. Try to do something great. You're going into business for yourself. Wonderful. That's great. You're going into business for yourself. But deep down inside, they don't want you to succeed because that makes them feel bad. That's your environment. You got to know what environment you're in. If you're in an environment like that, get out of it. If you got somebody telling every time you try to do something good or try to do something different, they tell you it's wrong. You got to do your own research. You got to find out whether or not it's right or wrong. You got to ask yourself, should I be saving $100 a week? Is it worth it? Maybe that's one of the things that come up, but they tell you, no, let's go out, let's party, let's have a good time with that $100. That's your environment. Look at the poor kid back to the ghetto, all right? Not in a good neighborhood. People telling him he's got to do this, he's got to do that, if he wants to be part of the gang, the mob mentality. If you want to be part of us, you got to do what we do. But I don't want to do that. Well, then you're going to be kicked out of this group. You won't be able to hang out with us. Then what are you going to do? See, you got to be smart enough to know that what that environment is doing to you isn't worth it. If I'm stuck in a bad situation and you say I got to stay in this situation, or I can't leave this situation, that's not good. You got to be positive. You got to be motivated. You got to realize that what's going on around you might not be working out for you. Or better still, you got to start looking for crowds of people that do want to do stuff. Or one person. What's the old saying, stand for something. Or otherwise, no, make sure you stand for something, or otherwise you'll fall for anything. And that's usually where people fall in. They wind up in an environment that's not going to feed them, not going to get them where they want to go. Jonathan Livingston Seagull, great topic to talk about the environment. He was at a whole group of people, a whole group of birds that really didn't do anything other than fly around, and whenever they had a chance, they got scraps off of boats. He was in the ocean, and he was a bird. He was a seagull in the ocean, and whenever he had to eat anything, he had to get the scraps from the carcass or whatever on a boat. But Jonathan Livingston Seagull had an incredible vision, and he knew what he wanted to do. He can look down through the water and see the fish in the water. And he was able to fly down at an incredible speed and get what he had to get. I hope that helped you. I hope that gave you a good insight of what's going on in your environment. Work on doing something great, and we'll talk to you next time. Have a good one, everybody.